As Christians, we follow a master who bid us to turn the other cheek, to go the extra mile, to forgive our enemies, to love those who are against us, to be people of peace and reconciliation. Jesus lived that out most powerfully from the cross, when he looked down from the cross on those who were hating on him, persecuting him, mocking him, killing him, and says to his Father, "Forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." As Christians, we are people of peace and of forgiveness, but also of justice and truth. In these challenging moments that we find ourselves to be in regarding race and racism, regarding how we live together in our society, regarding so many issues that are in play, it's certainly important for Christians everywhere, certainly for me as bishop, to come out and state very clearly and unequivocally that racism is a grave sin against the sacredness of the human person. And every attitude of racism, every action that is motivated by racism, every act of violence is a violation against both God and that human sacredness. I know here in Madison several weeks ago, a young woman had lighter fluid or kerosene thrown on her by men who were passing by, and she was severely burned and hurt by that. I think of different actions of violence that have occurred in our city and across our country this past week, and also in these last months of racial tension and protest. Regardless of the perpetrator, regardless of the victim, as Christians, we need to speak out and say that violence against another human person and also against anything that belongs to another person is wrong, that we are called to be people of respect, of compassion, of truth, and of mercy, but also striving for justice. It's clear that we have a long way to go in our country and in our society regarding how we can live together in respect and solidarity and peace. Our Catholic faith would say that peace isn't simply the absence of violence. It's not simply the fact that no one is hurting each other, but peace is an active force that comes from God himself when we live in right relationship with God and with others. And racism is a violation of that right relationship, and therefore leads to a lack of peace, leads to conflict, leads to violence, leads to all the things in our society that can rip us apart. How important it is for us in this time to pray for peace, to be people of peace, to be ministers of reconciliation, as St. Paul calls us to be and to do. This past weekend, I just found myself praying a lot about the violence in our country, in our city, and just really asking the Lord to heal our hearts, and indeed to heal and to forgive me, because there's still a lot of the old man inside of me that has not yet become the new creation that God wants. So when we can each look at ourselves and ask the Lord to heal us, to forgive us, to reconcile us, then we're more equipped to go forth and to be that minister of peace and reconciliation for others. And so we stand up for the sacredness, the dignity of every human life. And we ask the Lord to guide us that we may together walk that road of solidarity, of peace, of reconciliation and justice, where every person is welcomed, received, loved, respected, and can readily understand themselves as a beloved child of God. That's the vision of the kingdom of heaven. We're called to live it out and to build it here on earth.